So today's story is called Many Paths to God. It's by a lady whose name is Mary Ann Moore. And this is how it goes. Once upon a time, there were 4 travelers from different lands. These travelers all met at the bottom of a great mountain. Each had been told that if they climbed this mountain, that they would find God at the top. Around the mountain, there were many paths. Each of the travelers had been told beforehand which of the paths to take. And each of the travelers had also been told beforehand that only their path was the correct path. As the travelers began to meet one another at the bottom of the mountain, they began to tell one another about their journey. The first traveler said, "I am trying to find God. I have been told that the right path is that flowery meadow path over there. And if I follow it, at the top, I will find God, the great mother of all." The second traveler said, "That's interesting. I've been told that that steep cliffside path over there is the right path. I've also been told that if I follow it, when I get to the top, I will find God, the great Father in heaven." The third traveler paused for a moment and thought, and then he said, "It is strange that we have all been told to follow different paths. I've been told to follow the winding river path over there. And I've also been told that if I follow it, at the top, I will find God, the great Spirit in all things." The fourth traveler said, "Yes, this is strange. I've been told a different path yet. My path is the deep forest path. I have been told that if I follow it, at the top, I will find God, the great peaceful silence." Well, as you can imagine, the travelers were surprised to hear of all of these different paths because they were certain that their path was the only path to take. In fact, they were so sure that their path was the only path that they tried to convince one another to take their chosen path. But none would change their mind. They were sure that their chosen path was the right way. So they bid each other farewell and set off on their journey up the mountain. As they set off, they each sang a song of praise to God. And they could hear one another in the distance. And as they could hear one another in the distance, they all thought how strange each other's songs sounded. But be that as it may, they were off on their path and following their path up the mountain. Soon they could no longer hear one another anymore, and they were all alone. Sometimes following the path was easy. Sometimes following the path was very difficult. Finally, the travelers came to the top of the mountain. And as they neared the top of the mountain, they could hear one another's songs once again. But this time, they realized that each other's songs sounded beautiful, even though they were different than their own song. As they came to the top of the mountain, each of them came to the top of the mountain within minutes of one another. And as they got up there, each of them eagerly looked around. "Oh, I found God. Oh, great mother of all, I have found you," said the first traveler as they got to the top of the mountain. "Oh, great Father in heaven, I have found you," said the second traveler as they got to the top of the mountain. "Oh, great Spirit in all things, I have found you," as they got to the top of the mountain. "Oh, great peaceful silence, I have found you," said the fourth traveler as they got to the top of the mountain. But each of them realized that they were seeing and calling out to the same God. It was at that point that they realized that they were all searching for the same thing, even though they had been calling it by a different name and they had taken different paths. At this, they reached out for one another's hands, and they formed a circle right there on top of that mountain. And they began to sing again, but this time it seemed as though there was only one song, a joyous song for the love of God. The end. All right, you kids can go back and find your parents.